Now, as I was preparing to be the MC for tonight, I had to think of an introduction to say to the following person, to introduce the following person, which is Linda Mornell. It's the only part of my speech that I didn't write because I had a very difficult time coming up with the words to introduce Linda. I mean, do I really need to say more? But Linda, you have meant so much personally to me in my life. Last year, I lost my dad. And had you not created Summer Search, I wouldn't have had a family to turn to. So with my deepest gratitude, I thank you, and I'm sure that everyone in this audience feels that gratitude but don't know how to express it. Thank you. Linda, will you come to the stage?
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. This is a proud moment. I salute you, all of you, and congratulate us together for creating this magnificent moment to share. Yes. I can't tell you how grateful I am to each one of you for making the enormous commitment and time to take 2, 3, 4 days out of your life to be here to create this moment. It's hugely significant. And as we become a larger force and a nationally known program, you are going to be our biggest partners and our most significant partners because you are the voice of Summer Search. And your willingness to come here tonight assures me that you want to be a voice that's going to be heard in a lot of different ways. So thank you. Thank you for coming. From the beginning, 2 people, Carol, you have been one of them, have insisted on valuing our alumni. And I was so busy and so distracted when I started the program, and I didn't have any alumni, so I wasn't quite sure what he was talking about. But John Osterweiss, who generously volunteered to chair the board of directors in San Francisco and start this program with me, was very adamant from the very get-go that we must develop an alumni program. And I kept saying, well, but we don't, I don't know, I don't have time, we don't have any alumni, what are you talking about? But John is here tonight. John, would you please stand? John, I hope you're happy to see this flowering of your dedication and commitment. And share it with you tonight is a great honor for me. Over the years, well, over the last 6, 7, 8 years, many of you, when you see me, are saying, Linda, are you still around? And they'll say, well, but if you're around, you seem to be around, but what are you doing? Let me explain. In the beginning, for the first 5 years, I was mostly alone. And then Carol recommended Jay. Catherine and Jay called me with a month of each other and were very interested in joining me in this program. So they were the first 2 employees. We worked closely together, and as I tried to teach them the mentoring methods that I was actually just developing myself. And there were many things to learn, because my initial idea, for some of you old-timers know this, was to offer 1 summer program. And it seemed like such a great idea. I did that. 14 students participated, and as they came home, they sort of fell off the face of the earth, and they seemed to start getting depressed. So I realized that it was a pretty naive idea, and it really needed to be developed. And over the years, Summer Search evolved into a more comprehensive program. Tomorrow, Jay is going to address that journey much more specifically. But what I want to briefly help you understand is how my role developed and changed, and even more importantly, what will happen in the future. In 1998, after he had gotten Boston up and running, Jay called me before a retreat, and there seemed to be something he wanted to say. Finally, he said he wanted to run Summer Search and make it into a national program. He said to me, and I'll never forget this, "I'm young and ambitious, and I want to make my mark on the world." Jay, looking around tonight, you have certainly done just that, and it is a huge mark indeed. So when Jay made this request, I hesitated for just a split second, and then I said, yes, let's do that. It sounds like a good idea. But I had no real understanding of what that would actually mean. At the retreat, when Jay announced his plan to run Summer Search and develop more offices, Catherine suddenly said, "I want to be the ED and leader of the San Francisco office." Well, that was what I was doing. The forces of this decision unleashed could not be reversed. I had to get larger or get out. Summer Search had suddenly gone from being my baby to an adolescent who needed room to grow and expand and develop their own voice. In the next 8 years, as that adolescent matured into early adulthood, my role continued to change. We exploded with new offices and new and untrained staff, and my major role was teaching and training all those people. All of them so compassionate and so dedicated and so clueless. I was known to be rather cranky during those years, but to be honest, I wasn't a very good teacher. I was clueless too. A teacher who says, "Do as I say, copy me," may get people by in the short term, but it's not effective in the long run. The leaders in the different offices were able to grow with me as we worked together, and as I began to slowly learn how to translate more effectively what I had learned from my long career as a counselor in private practice and as a mentor to Summer Search kids. Philip Roth, the writer, once wrote, "If you are going to have a creative life, you must have the courage to lose your way." Every single one of you here knows exactly what that quote means, and Summer Search has certainly been very creative.